Rising above, words that changed lives and moved mountains. One day the people who doubted you will proudly tell everyone how they met you. When you build in silence, you make it impossible for others to attack what they cannot see. Loneliness often becomes the price you pay as you embark on the journey of self-improvement. If someone is trying to bring you down, remember, they are already beneath you. Failure is a bruise, not a tattoo. Everyone you encounter will hurt you in some way, but the challenge lies in finding those worth suffering for. Turn your wounds into wisdom. If the people in your circle don't inspire you, you don't have a circle, you have a cage. A good life includes bad days. They're part of the experience. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. When writing the story of your life, don't let anyone else hold the pen. A smile doesn't always mean happiness. Sometimes it reflects strength. It is better to be alone than in bad company. Free yourself from society's misguided advice, as most people don't know what they're doing. The family you create holds more significance than the family you come from. What could you achieve if you knew you couldn't fail? If you're not willing to work for what you want, don't complain about not having it. One day, all your late nights and early mornings will pay off. Be valuable, not available. If you're brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello. Just as an eagle uses storms to soar to unimaginable heights, you can use adversity to rise above. When a man invests in his mind, no one can take that wealth away from him. The things hardest to bear often become the sweetest to remember. The best decision I ever made was to stop telling people what's happening in my life. Words are like keys. Choose them carefully, and they can open hearts and shut mouths. If you only walk on sunny days, you'll never reach your destination. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, not those who drain you. Allow yourself to be a beginner. No one starts off excellent. Do it alone. Do it broke. Do it tired. Do it scared. Just do it. Never make a permanent decision based on temporary feelings. Life is a book with many chapters. One bad chapter doesn't mean it's the end of the story. Normality is a paved road. It's easy to walk, but barren of growth. Be proud of surviving the days you thought you couldn't. You are strongest when you remain calm. Judge no one. Focus instead on improving yourself. Train your mind to be stronger than your feelings. Don't overshare. Privacy is power. Problems aren't stop signs. They're guidelines. Life is like a book. Some chapters are sad, others happy, but all are necessary for the full story. The strongest people are not those who appear unshaken, but those who quietly fight battles no one else sees. The pain you feel today will become the strength you rely on tomorrow. Sometimes life tests us, not to reveal our weaknesses, but to uncover our strengths. Never tolerate disrespect, not even from yourself. Worrying is like a rocking chair. It keeps you busy, but gets you nowhere. A ship is safe in the harbor, but that's not what ships are built for. When you stop chasing the wrong things, the right ones will find you. There is no elevator to success. You must take the stairs. Focus on yourself. People will come and go. Sometimes what breaks your heart ends up fixing your vision. Your darkest moments may become the greatest turning points of your life. Learn to heal without broadcasting your pain to everyone. Time will reveal who truly values you. You'll be judged no matter what, so be true to yourself. If you're not falling occasionally, you're just coasting. First, it hurts. Then it makes you stronger. You can earn a living at your job, but working on yourself can build a fortune. Striving for success without hard work is like trying to harvest without planting seeds. Letting go of the wrong people is the only way to make room for the right ones. If you don't control your mind, someone else will. There will always be people who don't see your worth. Don't let one of them be you. Do what no one else can do, and you'll become what no one else can become. Make more moves and fewer announcements. Think back. 5 years ago, you dreamed of being where you are now. Playing it safe is the most dangerous thing you can do in life. Never be embarrassed to struggle. There is no shame in working hard to reach your goals. Growing harder doesn't help if your effort is headed in the wrong direction. You're not paid for your time, but for the value you bring to it. focus so deeply on improving yourself that you have no time to criticize others. Align your thoughts with your purpose, and your words will naturally follow. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Speaking without thinking is like shooting without aiming. Don't follow the path others have taken. Forge your own and leave a trail. The fact that you're not yet where you want to be should be motivation enough to keep going. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Stop oversharing. Most people don't care, and some secretly hope you fail. It's a slow process, but quitting won't make it faster. What comes easy won't last, and what lasts won't come easy. Don't ruin a good today by dwelling on a bad yesterday. Let it go. Success happens when you've survived all your mistakes. Winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. Before greatness, chaos often ensues. When someone says you can't, they're projecting their limits, not yours. If you live for people's approval, you'll die from their rejection. Pain comes in two forms, one that hurts and one that changes you. One day you'll understand why you had to wait. For your peace of mind, keep your life private. People don't need to know everything about you. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. Be selfish with your time. Most people don't deserve it. Silence is the best response to someone who undervalues your words. Fear is temporary. Regret is forever. Your future needs you. Your past doesn't. Don't let the same flame burn you twice. Worrying about losing is losing before you even begin. Excuses make today easier, but tomorrow harder. Discipline makes today hard, but tomorrow easier. Don't give up. You're closer than you think. Sometimes being alone is the best remedy for your soul. We fall, break, and fail, but then we rise, heal, and overcome. Sacrifice a few years of comfort for decades of freedom. Be patient. All things are hard before they become easy. Don't let yesterday steal today's joy. If you're tired, rest, don't quit. The two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you discover why. Hardship often prepares ordinary people for extraordinary destinies. Positive thinking will always outperform negative thinking. The only real mistake is failing to learn from one. Your past is a lesson, not a place to live. Don't rush the process, trust it. Great things take time. Big dreams demand healthy habits, and healthy habits require discipline. Staying positive in a negative situation is a victory. Sometimes you win, and sometimes you learn. It's just a bad day, not a bad life. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. If you believe it will work, you'll see opportunities. If you don't, you'll see obstacles. Nothing happens if you don't try. Don't give up. There's a reason you started. Be obsessed with becoming the best version of yourself. Win in your mind, and you'll win in reality. Making mistakes is better than faking perfection. Accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. The calmer you are, the clearer you'll think. When you feel like quitting, that's when you need to push harder. Control your thoughts, or they'll control you. Forget attention. Grow in private. Push yourself, no one else will. Focus on improving, not proving. 2 things define you: your patience when you have nothing, and your attitude when you have everything. Nothing lasts forever, not even pain. Keep things private until they're permanent. You only fail when you stop trying. You don't need more time. You need fewer distractions. Everyone leaves. Learn to thrive alone. Value your peace of mind. You can't reach what's ahead while holding on to what's behind. To be the best, you must endure the worst. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Trying to be someone else wastes who you are. Life, if predictable, would lose its flavor. Life is like a coin. You spend it only once, so spend it wisely. Practice self-compassion. Everyone makes mistakes. Time heals most wounds. Give it time. Sometimes you must let go of the good to make room for the better. What others think of you is none of your business. You can't start your next chapter while rereading the last. The best views come after the hardest climbs. You won't find rainbows if you're always looking down. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. You can't change the wind's direction, but you can adjust your sails. There are no shortcuts to places worth going. Rivers carve rocks not by force, but by persistence. You're confined only by the walls you build yourself. Focus on what you can control, let go of the rest. The only time to look back is to see how far you've come. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. In adversity, remember, diamonds are made under pressure. The first step toward change is deciding not to stay where you are. The true test of character is what you do when no one's watching. Don't go broke trying to impress broke people. No company is better than bad company. Stop comparing your life to others. Their journey isn't yours. No one will figure out your life for you. It's your responsibility. Life isn't fair, but it's still good. He who isn't courageous enough to take risks achieves nothing. Do yourself a favor, get rich. Money makes life easier, not time. Avoid disappointment by expecting nothing. Stress is temporary, but its lessons can last a lifetime. Do your best and trust the process. The harder you work, the luckier you get. If you're a giver, remember to set boundaries, because takers don't have any. In life, you have 3 choices. Watch things happen, make things happen, or wonder what happened. No regrets, just lessons. No worries, just acceptance. No expectations, just gratitude. Life is too short. The more interested you are in others, the more interesting they'll find you. To be interesting, be interested. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. People change, love hurts, friends leave, and things go wrong. But life goes on. Don't let anyone know your plans until they're complete. Your dreams and hopes matter most to you. Only you can make them happen. Forget what hurt you, but never forget what it taught you. Mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself is true power. Your direction is more important than your speed. Never regret a day in your life. Good days bring happiness, bad days bring experience, worst days bring lessons, and best days bring memories. Life is short, live it. Love is rare, cherish it. Anger is harmful, release it. Fear is awful, face it. Memories are sweet, hold on to them. Don't depend too much on anyone. Even your shadow leaves you in the dark. Some of the best moments of your life haven't happened yet. Bad habits are like a comfortable bed, easy to get into, hard to get out of. No one is ever too busy. It's all about priorities. If something makes you happy, keep it quiet. Be careful whom you trust. Salt and sugar look the same. Time reveals the true meaning of your relationships. Stay calm. You've been through hard times before, and you'll overcome them again. If people treat you like an option, leave them like a choice. Value experiences over possessions. Memories are life's true treasures. Focus on those who love you, not those who don't. Your vision may be blurry now, but it will clear with time. Take care of your body. Health is wealth. Train your mind. It can be your strongest muscle or your worst enemy. Cut toxic people off silently. You don't owe them a reaction. Other people's progress doesn't diminish yours. Keep a small circle and prioritize peace. Sometimes we create our own heartbreaks through expectations. Embrace solitude for reflection and growth. Overthinking, overtrusting, oversharing, and overloving are common pitfalls. Avoid them. You deserve what you want. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. Mental growth comes from discomfort. Let things be. If they're meant to happen, they will. Be real. It saves everyone time. Protect your personal life and guard your privacy. Discipline is a commitment to yourself. Done is better than perfect. Beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. Share your accomplishments wisely. Don't overshare every success. Life's greatest achievements often arise from adversity. Mistakes are stepping stones, not obstacles. Learn from them and keep moving forward. Self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. The value of time becomes clear when it's gone, so use it wisely. Don't pretend to be better than you are. Live life at your own pace. Caring too much about others' opinions makes you their prisoner. The possibilities for your life are endless if you don't limit yourself. Set high standards and live up to them. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to grow. Don't rush through life, you'll miss the best parts. The company you keep reflects who you are. Happiness is your responsibility. Don't wait for others to give you permission to feel it. Stop doing what's easy or popular and start doing what's right. It's a shame to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength your body is capable of. Life wasn't meant to make us perfect. Perfection belongs in a museum. Don't bite off more than you can chew. No one looks attractive spitting it back out. Prioritize your physical and mental health. They're your greatest assets. Don't be afraid to admit when you don't know something. Seek knowledge. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're finished. Do it now. Sometimes later becomes never. When you're winning, keep quiet. Don't try to reinvent yourself around the same people who held you back. Actions speak louder than words. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. Falling down is an accident. Staying down is a choice. Stop being complacent. Only dead fish go with the flow. Remove toxic influences before they corrupt you. Keep your goals private until your results speak for themselves. Everything will be okay. Maybe not today, but eventually. Hope, but don't expect. Look forward, but don't wait. Some people will never understand your silence. They won't understand your words either. Sometimes you need to burn bridges to stop crossing them. Focus on what you want, not what you fear. Your future depends on what you do today. If someone has let you down multiple times, stop giving them the chance to do it again. If you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to build theirs. Playing small keeps you small. Everything is hard before it gets easy. The cost of being wrong is less than the cost of doing nothing. The more challenges you face, the less you'll fear them. Old ways won't open new doors. Focus on the step in front of you, not the whole staircase. Not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear your path. Staying positive doesn't guarantee a good outcome, but it ensures you'll be okay no matter what happens. Surround yourself with people who discuss ideas, not others. Sometimes when things fall apart, they're actually falling into place. Life is like an elevator. Sometimes you have to let people off to keep rising. Weak people seek revenge, strong people forgive, intelligent people ignore. The master has failed more times than the beginner has tried. Trust people who see the pain behind your smile, the love behind your anger, and the reason behind your silence. If your absence doesn't affect them, your presence never mattered. Work for a cause, not applause. Live to express, not impress. Keep going, the power of persistence. Life isn't about doing something spectacular every day. It's not about leaping a mile or jumping over a mountain. It's about simply carrying on. There's a famous quote by Thomas Edison that's really stuck with me over the years. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Think about that. How close they were to the finish line when they turned their back and said it wasn't worth it. Success is often about seeing what others can't. It's believing when others don't. It's taking those abstract ideas, the pictures in your head, and finding the courage to make them real. Bringing them to life is a constantly evolving process that grows a little more every single day. Sometimes we feel progress. We feel the momentum. We do something big, and it's exciting. But other times progress feels small, almost invisible. There are moments when we get knocked down, and it feels like the world isn't validating our efforts. We start to think we've failed, that it wasn't enough. What we often forget is that this is all part of the process. Progress is a journey. It moves when you move, and it stops when you stop. Just like that Dalai Lama wisdom, the only way to fail is to quit. No one ever stops because they can't. They stop because they decide to. They stop because they see a huge mountain and think, that's impossible. They forget it's only made of little rocks. They get disheartened by the distance to the finish line and forget it's just a collection of little steps to get there. You don't have to leap the entire distance. I've been there. This is me speaking from experience. It took me years to figure it out. Even now, as life evolves rapidly, I look back at the moments when I poured my heart into things that, let's be honest, no one cared about. I've invested in opportunities that fell apart right in front of me. Each time it felt like the end of the world. I've been lost, unsure, and beaten down by plans that didn't pan out. I've looked in the mirror, felt like a loser, and had to pick myself back up off the floor. But there's one thing I kept doing without a second thought: continuing. Whether life lifted me up or knocked me down, my plan for tomorrow was always the same. Get up and try again. Keep going. As I sat down this morning with my pen and a piece of paper, I thought, what's the one thing I would want to be told if I were starting out again? What's the one thing people need to hear most? It's this: keep going, keep taking steps. One day the world will start to make sense. You'll look around and be thankful for one thing. When most would have stopped, you didn't. When the world said no, you said yes. There is nothing as powerful as the soul that refuses to back down. Persistence isn't just important or essential, it's everything. So live with the mindset of seeing not what can be lost, but what can be gained. Find that light in the darkness, even if it's just a flicker, even if it's just a spark. Every loss makes you tougher. Every moment of sadness uncovers something beautiful. Every moment of fear teaches you to be a little braver. Every broken heart opens the door to a new connection. Instead of doubting yourself or feeling inadequate during life's darkest moments, know this: you need what you are going through. You're uncovering the little victories hidden in plain sight, so when the world feels like too much and your patience is thin, be stronger than the voice in your head begging you to give up. Stand on every experience, the good and the bad. Let it elevate you to a beautiful tomorrow. If there's time to turn things around. If there's a tomorrow, there's hope today. The only limits in life are the ones we prop up and adhere to. And how interesting that oftentimes we don't even realize we're the ones holding them up. Here's a simple question I like to ask myself as the sun comes up and the coffee brews. Am I living today like it's an obligation or like it's something more? Is today an automatic continuation of the past, or is it a methodical move toward the future that lights me up? These aren't small distinctions. I've lived both ways, and let me tell you, the choice to keep going makes all the difference. I've felt what it's like to drift through life without purpose. I remember joking at work that a flat tire would be a real treat. That's not accountability, nor is it control. It's living life like a jellyfish, floating aimlessly with the tide. While avoiding responsibility may have felt like a burden lifted in the moment, it deprived me of something essential to every human being: purpose and personal agency. You can only go so far, for so long, as a spectator of your own journey. Eventually, you start wondering what it would feel like to take the wheel and truly steer your life. Too often, we act out of habit or expectation. We follow routines because that's how it's always been done. But whose expectations are we fulfilling? Some of my greatest breakthroughs came after someone I respected asked, "Why? Why accept that as your income? Why spend your days the way you do? Why settle?" When you take a magnifying glass to your life, hidden truths emerge. Shining a light in those shadowy corners often reveals the wolf in sheep's clothing. The phrase, "because that's how I've always done it." Life gives us what we accept. We are who we allow ourselves to be. Without questioning which mountains are worth climbing or which oceans are worth crossing, we simply float along at the mercy of the winds. But mastery over our lives awaits if we're willing to navigate. Here are a few lessons to take with you. You are bound by nothing. The parameters you exist within are of your own making. You can get in the car and drive. You can walk away and begin anew. You can entertain the vision that's been conveniently tucked away in the back of your mind. Understand that not going is fine, but it is a decision, and perhaps one you'll wish you had made differently. Difficulty today liberates tomorrow. It's easier to observe, to wish for change, than to step into the chaotic world of action. But it's within that chaos where you find yourself and the path meant for you. The discomfort of jumping into the cold water is where evolution happens. If there's time to turn things around. If there's a tomorrow, there's hope today. Simple but not easy. Becoming who you want to be is straightforward but not effortless. Walking is simple, hiking a mountain is not easy. The context changes, and so does the challenge. Growth is cyclical. Yesterday's courage becomes today's status quo. What once felt extraordinary now feels mundane. But that prompts the question, what's next? The acquisition of courage. Yesterday's triumph got you here. But it's not enough for tomorrow. You can stay in the comfort of reminiscing, or you can step into the vulnerability of the unknown. Life's greatest rewards come at the cost of discomfort. The game hasn't ended. You've just learned the rules. Now it's time to play at a higher level. Mistakes are your curriculum. The fear isn't the mistakes themselves, it's what you think they mean, ridicule, embarrassment, or loss. But when you realize the upside of growth outweighs the downside of failure, you liberate yourself. Mistakes are lessons in disguise. Lean into them. Growth feels uncomfortable because your biology resists change. But that's where progress lives. Trust yourself. Trust is easy when things go well, but true growth takes time. There's nothing quite like giving and giving without immediate results. Success isn't about the home run, it's about the discipline to keep showing up. Each swing chisels your future self out of stone. Repetition and refinement are the tools. Keep stepping up to the plate. The path is laid out before you. It's simple, but not easy. Are you willing to take the first step? Remember, progress comes from believing in yourself enough to begin again. From fanning the flames of courage and from embracing the climb, mistakes and all. Your evolution awaits. Those are the materials from which all things are made. Simple, but not easy. And then we have the finale. The ending step 5. Celebrate and adjust. At some point, you'll be able to look over your shoulder and notice something that perhaps you hadn't before. Space. Space between where you are and where you started. It's not sudden, but gradual, and undoubtedly with enough persistence it will emerge. These moments, they are precious. They are times to acknowledge what you've accomplished, the sacrifices you have made. They are life's way of reminding you what you are building and who you are becoming. It's a time of celebration. Every little win means something. Every small victory matters, so relish in it. And then transform it. Normalize it by integrating it into your daily routine and mindset. Take those small wins and make them part of who you are. Let them redefine your standard so what once felt extraordinary becomes your new normal. By doing this, you not only celebrate progress, but also use it as a stepping stone for further growth. Recognize that mountaintop is your foundation. Now your starting point has changed, and so have you. Which means so have your expectations. With an increase in ability comes an upgrade to what's possible. What's expected? And look at that. We have arrived in a new step. One, realize there is more. This is the process for capturing that which life has to offer. If you can fall in love with that, appreciate it, respect it while simultaneously understanding it's not scary. It's dependent entirely on your ability to push forward. If you can understand that there is nothing you can't do, nowhere you can't go. Simple. Yes. Easy. No, but you're not in this for easy. You're in it for the journey, the growth, the adventure. You're in it because it's not easy. You'll see in time, as will the world, that this decision to endure was simply the best, one you ever made. The other day, I woke up with a plan 3. Things I had to do, so I wrote them on my whiteboard. They were essentially my objectives for the day. But it ended up being one of those days where things didn't unfold the way I anticipated. And for a variety of reasons, curveball after curveball, with some sloppy decision-making sprinkled in there, eventually morning became afternoon, became evening. I found myself exhausted and looking up at AA whiteboard that was showing. Me, I had accomplished none of the things listed, and I hate that feeling. Having clear objectives and not meeting them. Right? So after dinner, I got a phone call and I found myself talking about how I fell short, getting it all off my chest, letting it all out there. And I got that reassurance that I wanted, without even realizing that I wanted the voice set back to me. Eddie, this happened. It's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. No one's perfect. You put a lot of pressure on yourself. Tomorrow's a new day, right? That type of thing. And it's like, okay, exhale, time for bed. And the next morning I was outside relaxing, doing some thinking, and came to this point. And you'll see how these dots connect here in a second. But essentially, I see life as a staircase, right where we thrust ourselves out into discomfort, into chaos. And then, amidst the storm, we're forced to grow. We step into shoes we were once unable to fill, and what was once bigger than us is now normal. That's every day. It's ordinary because we fought for it. We pushed ourselves through that evolution. But now, guess what? That old ceiling has become the floor. It's time to evolve. It's time for that next step in the staircase. Time to thrust ourselves back into the chaos of life so that we can again tame something bigger than us. Take the next intimidating thing and make it commonplace. And as I sat there outside thinking, I found myself to be at that next step, ready to leap out again into the tumultuous winds of life. But this time it felt different. There's an intersection, and I talk about it often, of doing what adds value to the world and doing what makes you content personally. Okay, I think where those two things meet is peak living. That's where the magic happened. And I'm fortunate enough that these thoughts, speeches, episodes, videos, whatever you want to call them on some days, literally reach over 200,000 people. And that's not meant to be humble brag or anything like that. It's just to me, so incredible that I can't process it. Right. I get emotional thinking about it. My dream is to add value to other people, provide that little lift by sharing insights, stories, or strategies that inspire others to see their challenges in a new light, offering actionable steps or a fresh perspective that can guide them toward resolution or growth. Maybe see a path when before they were unable to. That's what it's all about. And then in addition to that, a parallel track on a personal level, feeling like I'm growing and evolving as well. Constantly stepping up those stairs one by one, having the courage to continue fighting those unknowns and making sense of life's complexities. That's why so many of you are on this journey with me, and so as I looked up at that next step and it felt bigger than it ever had before. I knew the task needed to be bigger than it's ever been, which would require me one of the biggest changes I've ever made. And that scared me to death, knowing that in order for something to be born, something must die. Something must be left behind. I've been stepping forward for years, and thank God for that. But now it was time for a leap. And so back to that whiteboard I mentioned earlier. If you hang in with me long enough, I usually come full circle. All right, back to the list of goals. I missed the bad day. Why am I so fixated on that? Well, it has nothing to do with the day itself. Everyone swings and misses from time to time. It has nothing to do with those 3 goals. Everyone falls short here and there as part of life. It's about the person I want to be as I endure those turbulent times. It's about the strength to handle my own chaos and battles differently. Before you can lead others, you need to lead yourself, and that means being vulnerable. It means being honest. It means looking in the mirror and asking yourself the tough questions. It means being stronger than I've ever been. There will be times that require of me that I pushed forward without having to hear from my parents or girlfriend or buddies that everything's all right. The next step requires that I trust myself to be the guy in my own life. To have impact in the world, one must find strength within themselves where they didn't know it existed. This is a leveling up that I know is required for me to be more than I've ever been. Stronger, bolder, more confident when I'm most fearful with. A line I used to draw separating me and the people I look up to. And the moment for me was a message. I knew it was time for me to mentally remove that line. You'll never be more than you envision yourself to be. This means your self-perception is not just a reflection of your current state, but the blueprint of your future. To envision yourself as capable, strong, and destined for growth is to lay the foundation for those qualities to manifest. Conversely, limiting beliefs and a narrow perspective can confine you to a smaller existence than what you are truly capable of achieving. Your vision of yourself is the lens through which you filter possibilities and make choices. Expand that vision and you expand your world. It was time to be my own answer. Promote myself to that next level, from the kid with the dream to the man that makes it happen. It's time. It's just simply time, even the ones I love, the ones closest to me, They can't provide that has to be internally derived from a place so deep that come hell or high water. It's happening and telling people about my little misfortunes so that they can pat me on the head and tell me things are great. That's antithetical to what is required of me next. There is a level of courage and strength and excellence in all of us that lives at the bottom of this abyss that we must pull up, with everything we have until it becomes intertwined with who we are and where we're headed. And as I sat there, I knew it to be true. I couldn't help but feel that change was about to happen, and it would stem directly from how I see myself. It would be the courage to begin. We're happiest when progressing, when mapping out unexplored territory and making it our own. Settling for the status quo leaves us unfulfilled because deep down we crave the next door to open. So today, let's find one door to step through. Small actions create momentum. Waking up early, reading a few pages, or making a long postponed call can set off a chain reaction of progress. Push back against routine. Create microcosms of chaos you can tame and understand. Treat uneasiness as assurance that you're on the right path. Decisions, even imperfect ones, move you forward. The only bad decision is no decision. Each choice is a step closer to the life you envision. You versus you. Your greatest opponent isn't the world, it's you. The world can present obstacles, but only you decide when to stop. You determine how far you'll go and what you'll endure. Resilience means recognizing that the external world can't dictate your response. The way you interpret and react to challenges shapes your path. Will Smith's memoir shares a powerful lesson from his childhood. After witnessing a difficult moment between his parents, he learned the difference between external actions and internal reactions. That understanding, that you control your narrative, is transformative. Every challenge asks, what does this mean? Your answer determines whether it detracts from your dreams or fuels your rise. Write your story. Life isn't about waiting for miracles, but creating them. By stepping into the arena, even imperfectly, you ignite change. You don't need to be the best today, just courageous enough to begin. Each step builds momentum, transforms your vision into reality, and unlocks doors you never imagined. So are you ready to take that next step? Look at the chasm before you. Trust that everything you've endured has prepared you for this moment. You are not defined by what stands in your way, but by your decision to move forward. It's time to climb the staircase, one act of courage at a time. The world is waiting for the story only you can write. The strength in vulnerability. There's a moment in life where the decision is made, not with grand declarations, but quietly and resolutely. It's a moment where you decide not to negotiate with weakness. No debates, no bargaining. The path forward has already been charted. You knew it would be uncomfortable, and still you chose it because it's where growth lives. Today's challenge. Whether it's deadlifts, burpees, or squats, doesn't require overthinking. You don't need to rationalize, argue, or second guess. The dotted line was signed before you started. It's simple. The next task comes, and you say yes. You act before your mind has a chance to hold you back, separating action from the discomfort it brings. That's the breakthrough, freeing yourself from the voice that begs you to stop. The true adversary isn't the pain, confusion, or the unknown. Those are just byproducts of doing something worthwhile. The real enemy is the voice within, the one that says, slow down, maybe you can't. If you can separate that voice from the task at hand, nothing can stop you. Silencing the inner negotiator. I'm not saying you should ignore your brilliant mind. Thoughtfulness is essential. But there's a time to switch it off, a time for pure action. One more mile. Done. One more set? No problem. It's not about figuring out if you can. It's about knowing you will. Shutting down that inner dialogue simplifies everything. It removes the emotional weight of hesitation. No. Maybe I shouldn't. No. What if I can't? It's just objective, action, progress. That's the discipline that moves mountains. Not extraordinary talent, but the willingness to keep going when it hurts. You thought about the path before you stepped into the arena. Now it's time to act. No hesitation, no retreat. The swords will clash, the lions will roar, but your eyes stay fixed on the goal. Pain isn't your enemy, it's just background noise, an audience to your triumph. Turning pain into power. The road to this moment hasn't been easy. There were times you questioned everything, your plans, your beliefs, your purpose. You felt the sting of failure, the pull of regret, and the weight of uncertainty. That's life. To live is to confront these challenges, to wrestle with the disparity between our plans and reality. But here's the truth. Those missteps and heartbreaks, those scars, they're not signs of weakness. They're proof of resilience. They're the reason you stand taller today. Every setback has shaped you, given you strength you didn't know you had. They've prepared you for bigger arenas and tougher battles. Pain isn't a reason to hide, it's a reason to rise. It's not a weight to carry, but a multiplier. A tool for growth, a key to transformation. The fire that burned you also forged you, and now it lights your way forward. The courage to step into the unknown. To live fully is to embrace vulnerability. It's to step into the darkness of the unknown, heart racing, mind spinning, unsure of what lies ahead. Yes, it's terrifying. Yes, you might stumble. But it's the only path to something extraordinary. You are not your past. You're the wisdom born from its lessons, the strength drawn from its trials, the courage that emerged from its storms. That pain you've carried? It's not a chain, it's a badge of honor. It's the proof that you've endured, grown, and evolved. And so you step out again. You risk, you fall, you rise. You love, grow, build, and believe again. Because this is who you are, not someone held back by fear, but someone propelled forward by it. Underneath the doubt and insecurity lies the beginning of a miracle. One step at a time. The timing will never feel perfect. The challenges will never seem easy. But the question will always remain, can you take that next step? Can you push forward, even when it hurts, even when the voice inside tells you to stop? The answer is yes. Because you're not just walking a path, you're carving one. One rep, 1 mile, one decision at a time, you're building a life defined by courage and resilience. So pick up the sword, step into the arena, and take that next step. The world is waiting for what only you can bring to it. Embrace the struggle. Unlock your potential. When our backs are against the wall, we're forced to become more than we thought possible. In the face of ticking clocks and mounting pressure, we uncover answers hidden within us. It's in the darkest moments that we find our light. And while we may feel lost, we are actually discovering ourselves. The paradox of life is this. From our pain comes our purpose. From our struggles comes our growth. And from our lowest points comes our greatness. I often think back to 2014, walking the streets of Boston, having just quit my job, feeling purposeless. I clung to an idea for a YouTube channel and podcast called Your World Within. You miss out on both the upside and the failure. But it's the failure, the struggles, that fuel growth. Life isn't just about working hard for results. Sometimes you pour your energy into something and get nothing in return. Nothing except maybe bruised pride. But within that struggle lies power. This is where the light bulb clicks on and the path becomes clear. Whew, here's the truth. We only get what we want when we endure what we don't. A foreign concept, right? It's like standing in front of a crowd, knees shaking, chest pounding, and someone telling you, it will be good for you. And you know what? They're right. The fear becomes a signal that something new, something exciting is on the horizon. Every time fear hits, it means you're getting closer to something meaningful, to a higher version of yourself. The pain is an invitation. The terror is an upgrade. It's easy to run from it, but running only keeps you stagnant. We need to change our relationship with discomfort. Our instinct is to preserve comfort, but comfort doesn't build greatness. Just like upgrading those stock speakers in my old truck, we need to rewire the voices inside our heads to upgrade the quality of what we tell ourselves. When life's challenges scatter everyone else, that's when you rise. The more you embrace discomfort, the more powerful your courage becomes. But here's the hard truth. We must lose ourselves to find ourselves. We must face our fears if we're ever going to become truly courageous. We must fail to succeed. And yes, sometimes the price feels steep, but not going after what you want costs far more. Maybe for you, it's not a YouTube channel or a career as a speaker. Maybe it's something entirely different. But there's something inside you that calls to be pursued. And if you choose to follow that calling, there will be moments of defeat. Moments where you question whether it was worth leaving the safety of your old world. You'll feel alone, stuck, unsure. The difference will be in how you see these moments, as signs to turn back or as the invitation you've been waiting for. The real question is, how will you internalize the emotions that seem to consume you? I remember the temptation to go back, to take the easy route. But my old coach had a saying, you can do anything for 15 seconds. Life is just a series of 15-second windows. It's about compartmentalizing the difficult parts and seeing them as opportunities. You have the power to think differently, to see darkness not as a place to hide, but as an invitation to become the light. The best way to become more is to embrace vulnerability. Put your back against the wall. It won't feel like the perfect moment, but committing to that vulnerability will unleash the power, strength, and greatness within you. That greatness has always been there. It just needed the right moment to emerge. Embrace the struggle. It's the key to unlocking your true potential. Moving into the chaos, you are simultaneously creating the calm you always dreamed of. You're realizing the possibility that just needed the door left ajar to make its way into your world. Don't you dare reach for your pocket. I told myself, in fact, take that phone and put it in another room. Shut your internet off. Set your devices to do not disturb and think, please think. You are losing yourself to distraction. Where's Cal Newport puts it? You know, we're in a world that demands more thought, more deep work than ever before. Well, we all simultaneously become more and more incapable of that focus. And to me, it feels like more than a chuckle. At our outrageous screen time or a self-deprecating joke about how reliant we are on our phones. The dopamine hit. You know, I think it's antithetical overall to what we need to where we find our purpose, which is a dichotomy that's frustratingly true with so many things, like that balance for me to have a digital business that means so much to me that I'm so proud of, but also tiptoeing around that same digital world like it's a hungry lion capable of devouring me. But that's a real feeling. It's water that's foundational for life, but in too large a quantity will kill. It's the sun that, while integral and responsible for this planet as we know it, also has no problem ending. You know, anything that's too openly exposed to its rays, to its heat, there's always this sweet spot. But between too much and not enough, like that happy medium, that intersection is why we're all here. Because when I don't take time to deeply think, when I lose the big picture, I remain in a cycle of routine, and sometimes that's great. Right? Morning routine is great. I don't really have to think about it. I'm programmed. Things like driving a car is due. He explains in The Power of Habit, your foot stepping on the gas. It's involuntary, and thank God for that. But one must be able to step outside that loop and ask the big picture questions. We have to make time to at least roughly chart the course. And it'll change. Life will present its obstacles, but we'll have at least passed out what matters and what doesn't. When my life is all habit and reflex, when you've lost the ability to examine the self because 1 minute alone with your thoughts is agonizing, well, you won't be able to see past the surface of who you are and what you're capable of. I want to be clear here. This is not me complaining about perhaps the most prosperous society ever to exist. This is me saying, you know, there are some dangers that we way too easily overlook, that when you outsource your thinking, you outsource your future, and it's not. And it's not hard to fall into that trap. I just referenced the book Deep Work a few minutes ago. I think it's one of the most important books someone can read in this day and age. You know, Cal Newport talking about separating ourselves from distraction. I remember the day to first listened to that book. I was sick, so I wasn't on my usual run. I was walking, and because of that I felt this urge to, as the book was, playing to reach into my pocket and check for notifications, and it really was eye-opening. It's like we are scared to completely immerse ourselves in solitude, but solitude is where we uncover so much silence, is where we hear what our souls have to say. It's where we understand who we are. My favorite Joseph Campbell, quote, "The cave you fear holds the treasure you seek in man." I hate to say it, but I think being alone, even for a short period of time, is that monster lurking in the cave. You know, the one we're scared to confront, even though it's what we need. Solitude is the demon we are consistently masking in a constant influx of media and small talk and DMs and emails. You know, that stuff has its value, but it's not real in the sense that I find it disconnected from purpose. So here's something that I've been doing, and I would suggest that you give it a try. It's been certainly helpful in my life, and start small even if it's 15 minutes, but take a walk by yourself, no phone, and it's challenging at first. Because you want to be consuming something, even if it's, educational valuable. Still, right? No phone solitude. Think about life. Think about who you are. Think about what you've always wanted and where your current reality aligns. Think about how much you have and how lucky you are. Think about any or all of these things, but think. But your mind go where amidst the push and pull of life, you don't often let it wander. For example, some thoughts from my walk today, some of it random sporadic noise, some of it more valuable than others, but all of it valuable because the process in its entirety is valued. I spent some time thinking about the week ahead, the things I'm excited about and how to prepare for them, and realized one of them the second didn't want to do, then had that debate with myself. Well, do I not want to do it because it doesn't align with my goals or because it makes me uncomfortable? Came to the conclusion that I think it's the latter, so it's staying in my schedule, but I'll reassess. I thought about Florida. I consistently think about how lucky I am to be down here after living in so many cold places. It's just such a beautiful environment, and one that I don't take for granted. I thought about a statement I just heard from a professional athlete after his surgery, talking about how hard it was on him, but that he would rise from the ashes and he would have the best year of his life. And, my mind went to one of the most important rules of leadership, that it's not about you or your rise or fault, right, to lead, is to make it about the team, about the overall goal, and how grateful I was to come across that video to see that, and really dissected. Sometimes the best ways we learn is by seeing what not to do, right? And I'll take that understanding with me on my own journey. Last thing I remember, I thought about some of the books I've been consuming. I've taken in an insane amount of books over the years, but I practically stopped reading physical books right now. I consume mostly unaudible or other audiobook methods. Maybe wonder whether the value is equivalent, how much that varies from person to person. Maybe something to research later, right? That's all I remember as I sit here now. But the point is, this is stuff that if I don't immerse myself in solitude and break through the barrier of boredom, I don't get to. And maybe you go through a week where you don't find much. But as the saying goes, right, one idea, one concept, one epiphany can truly change the dynamic of your life, could change everything. Right, there are answers just beyond the realm of distraction we operate in. Some of them pertaining to trivialities like the audiobooks and the cold front. Some of them pertain to your goals and your development, who you are but where you're going, and how you'll get there. As Newport says, to simply wait and be bored has become a novel experience in modern life, and while his emphasis and focus is primarily on work, in creating an environment to be productive. I want to suggest that it's not only our work that needs saving, but ourselves. We can't lose touch with what matters most. We can't become so shallow in our thoughts and our actions that the beauty remains buried away. There is something in you that's untapped, unfinished rock talent or desire. There are pieces of you that need to be assembled, and if left alone, will wither away unremarkably quietly and probably without your notice. So my ask is that you think of this as more than me cheering all on long walks. It's not about the walks, right? It's about time alone with yourself, in what that opens up for you. It's about recognizing the spaces we need to carve out from the outside world so that when we re-enter the outside world, we know who we are. We understand where we're headed. We don't go where the wind blows. We are able, as the saying goes, to adjust our sails to get to our destination. All you need is more time with you. There's a quote from Naval Ravant. He says, "The closer you are to the truth, the more silent you become inside." Found that interesting. Got an email recently from someone asking for my thoughts about their being overlooked for a promotion of their work. Embrace being overlooked. The power of persistence and self-belief. They say they're dedicated, they work hard, show up and execute. But when you feel overlooked, what does that really mean? Like so many things, it's all about perspective. The feedback you receive means what you decide it means. Let's look at being overlooked through the lens of an iceberg. That rejection? It's the tip of the iceberg floating above the surface, visible and easy to see. But underneath, where the real strength lies, is a vast foundation. Beneath the surface is your self-belief, your trust in the process. That's what sustains you when the world overlooks you. The top of the iceberg, the visible part, is your opportunity to self-reflect, to ask yourself, where can I improve? What areas can I strengthen? Disappointment drives reflection, and reflection opens doors to growth. But that's just the surface. What's underneath, the part no one sees, is your foundation. The belief that rejection is not defining you. It's the unwavering certainty that no matter how many times you stumble, fall, or wander, you will find your way if you stay committed to your North Star. Being overlooked is not the end. It's a small part of a much bigger picture. The vast majority of an iceberg exists beneath the surface. And when it comes to success, the differentiator isn't just about how many wins you rack up. It's about how you internalize the process. When you're confident in yourself and your direction, the little wins and losses along the way don't hold the weight they once did. Getting overlooked is just feedback. It doesn't define you. It's the beginning, not the end. Naval Ravikant once said, "The closer you are to the truth, the more silent you become inside." As you grow wiser and more certain of your path, your inner dialogue quiets. This applies to your external reality too. When you trust yourself and your vision, the noise of the world doesn't disrupt you. You move forward with positive feedback. Gratitude is important, but if we rely too heavily on it for our sense of self-worth, we set ourselves up for a roller coaster ride of emotions. When you have a clear vision and trust in yourself, both the praise and the criticism lose their power over you. This is not a battle against the world, it's you versus you. You're committed, determined, and on fire with purpose. Every step, whether it's a win or a loss, brings you closer to your destination. Sometimes the data you collect comes in the form of being overlooked. Sometimes it validates your progress. But the key is to keep moving forward. You've decided you will succeed, and you're putting yourself in position to capitalize on every opportunity life has to offer. It's not just about waiting for inspiration, it's about creating it. Life may seem stacked against you. The road may be long and the journey tough. But the lows aren't setbacks, they're fuel for growth. They force you to reflect and reassess. When you decide you don't want to feel this way anymore, that's when the real transformation begins. Here's the interesting part. Knowing what you don't want is often the first step toward discovering what you do want. The road may not always be clear, but knowing that this moment isn't where you want to stay gives you the momentum to move forward. You don't need to know exactly where you're headed or what the end of the journey looks like. All you need to know is that right now, where you are is enough to get started. It's the engine that drives everything, and you owe no one an explanation. A feeling in your stomach, that hunger for more, is all you need to ignite your journey. Leave scarcity behind and train your eyes to see the abundance around you. Tiger Woods once said, "Things aren't the way I'd like them to feel, but I've given myself a chance." In a moment of adversity, he found his resolve. And that's what we all need to remember. Your past, with all its ups and downs, has brought you here. Life is one big tournament, and you've made the cut. You've earned the right to play tomorrow. Tomorrow holds the chance to reset, rediscover, and rise again. By showing up today, You've given yourself a chance, and that is the most powerful thing you can possess. So the next time you feel overlooked, remember, this is not the end. It's the beginning of a journey only you can define. Keep moving forward. You've got this. Make today amazing, the power of shifting your perspective. Too often we focus on what we don't have, on the gaps, the blanks, the things that seem missing. We become fixated on what we lack instead of recognizing the opportunity right in front of us. That opportunity is the power to pivot. Flexibility is your greatest asset, but it only becomes valuable when you see it and use it. And yes, I know, it's not always easy. When we're not at our best, it's easy to see the problems we face and believe they define us. When we feel overwhelmed, it's tempting to think life is bigger than us, that we're outmatched. But here's the truth. All the circumstances that have led to this moment are not obstacles. They're opportunities. They are life's way of giving you a chance to move forward. Think of those setbacks, the frustrations, and even the personal struggles. These are the things that have shaped you. They've brought you here, and from this very moment, you have the chance to evolve. When life throws curveballs your way, try viewing them as opportunities to step up. Instead of seeing challenges as setbacks, see them as a chance to hit off speed, to rise to the occasion. When you shift from "it's happening to me" to "it's happening for me," you begin to recognize advantages that were always there. They weren't missing. They were simply unrecognized because you saw them as hindrances instead of stepping stones. You've been sharpened by mistakes and shaped by the lessons you've learned. And now you're standing at the threshold of a new chapter. Don't just look back. Create a new reality. Walk a new path. The future is unfolding, and it's yours for the taking. So step off the sidelines and onto the stage. Yes, the stakes are higher, but so is the reward. I often talk about the importance of looking back at the highs and lows. Not because they control you, but because they've made you stronger. Look at everything you've endured. What's the reward? The gift right in front of you, the chance to say years from now that despite the chaos, despite the confusion and the uncertainty, you didn't just survive, you thrived. You can't get the light at the end of the tunnel without walking through the darkness. And that darkness? It's what brought you to where you are today. It's part of the journey, the very thing that has prepared you for something greater. It's time to remember, all of this has unfolded to bring something beautiful into your life. Maybe it's the perspective you've been missing. Maybe it's the understanding that this moment is exactly where you need to be. The world will only give you what you ask for, so why not ask for evolution? Demand it. Demand a shift, a transformation. The game of life is waiting for you. So don't be afraid to play. I once saw a picture on a table that read, "Make today amazing." It was a reminder that life is full of choices. Even on our worst days, life offers us lessons. On our best days, it offers us the highs of existence. And in every moment, life gives us the chance to cash in on all we've learned. Make today amazing. Because the truth is, today is all we have. Today is not just another day to get through. It's the day that matters. Today is the big show. It's the dream. It's where the answers lie and where the path forward begins. You don't need to have it all figured out right now. You just need to take that first step. Today is the beginning of something new. It's your chance to stretch further, to reach higher, and to bring the impossible a little closer to reality. While you may not always control what life hands you, you can control what you do with it. Like an architect designing a new reality, you have the power to shape your world. When you raise your standards, life rises to meet you. When you believe in yourself, when you act in alignment with your vision, the world makes room for you. Your identity becomes stronger, and the cycle of growth continues. The tool itself is rarely the differentiator. It's the vision behind it. Take something as simple as a hammer. It can be a tool of destruction, or it can be a tool of creation. It all depends on how you use it. The hammer doesn't change. What changes is your perspective. And that's the key. The difficult things, the challenges, the fear. It's all part of the process. We're not just fighting against circumstances, we're fighting against our own nature. The fear that once kept us alive now holds us back. The approval we once sought for survival now keeps us trapped in our comfort zones. The unknowns that once kept us safe now limit our potential. But here's the truth. You are not just another living thing. You have the power to create, to build new worlds, to shape your future. That ability is a miracle, and it's yours to harness. But it starts with awareness. Look around. The pieces to build something new are already here. The tools are in your hands. Now it's time to use them. So make today amazing. Take that first step. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the right circumstances. The time is now. And with every choice, every decision, you are creating the life you were always meant to live. Come and take it, standing strong in the face of adversity. I've always believed that if something means something to you, it's never stupid. It's worth exploring. Even if that thought doesn't end up being everything you hoped for, even if it's not the destination, but just a stop along the way. It still pushes you forward. It moves you to the next thing, and the next, and the next. It's the beauty of life, growth, momentum, and evolution. So decide. Decide to make today amazing. Choose to make it better. Let the obstacles lift you, and let momentum carry you towards something meaningful. When others stop, when they doubt themselves and retreat, what will you do? Will you find that small spark buried deep within that keeps you moving forward? Because sometimes that's all life asks of us. Just pick your head up, find the next door, and walk through it. The magic is knowing that there's always a doorway and a key, but we must be willing to find it. The right doors will open, but they require us to summon the strength to approach them, to seek out the amazing. So what does the next chapter look like for you? Are you enduring one of life's winters? Are you navigating those valleys of despair, looking for that single ray of light amidst the storm, the courage to take one more step, then another and another? Because that spark is there, waiting for you if you choose to make today amazing. Maybe you've climbed out of a rough patch. Maybe you're looking ahead, seeking evolution, growth, and new purpose. Let the external world support your vision. See the details, not as trivialities, but as the answers, the tools that will help you build the life you want. One of the most powerful reminders I've ever seen was a picture on a table that read, "Make today amazing." It's a reminder of how much of life is a choice. In a world full of options, what a gift it is to choose the journey of a lifetime. The other day I was listening to a podcast by Dan Carlin called Hardcore History, which, by the way, is an incredible podcast. In one episode, he discussed the Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BC. You may know the story. King Leonidas of Sparta leads a small army, including 300 Spartans, against the vast Persian army. When Xerxes, the Persian king, demands that the Spartans lay down their weapons and submit, they respond defiantly, "Molon lab," meaning, "come and take them." This struck me deeply. With everything on the line, against overwhelming odds, the Spartans held firm to their principles. They were fighting for something bigger than themselves. And in that moment, they embodied a strength that speaks to all of us. The strength to live with unrelenting conviction for what matters most to you. The truth is, life's challenges are like that invading army. When adversity strikes, when life feels like it's pushing you to give up, to shrink, to abandon your values, it's tempting to let go. But as Viktor Frankl wisely said, everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. The world around you can change. It can challenge you, confuse you, and try to convince you that you're powerless. But your attitude, your choice to stand firm, is yours. When life demands more than you think you can give, when it feels easier to retreat, remember the Spartans. Come and take it. Life will test you, and when you stand firm, you'll encounter resistance. But that resistance is not there to break you. It's there to build you. Anyone who stands for something will face opposition. The world will criticize, condemn, and create division. But your convictions, they are yours. They don't have to be validated by anyone else. As Victor Hugo said, you have enemies? Good. That means you've stood up for something, sometime in your life. And in that moment of pressure, when the weight of the world tries to make you compromise, hold on. Don't give away your strength. Don't give up your heart. Don't let external pressures dictate who you are. There's a quote that says, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Don't let the world make you fit into its mold. Keep the flame of your individuality burning, no matter the storm. Life may try to bend you, but stand strong. External forces don't dictate who you are unless you let them. Life may try to shape you, but remember, you are the architect. If something matters to you, if it's worth holding on to, keep your grip tight. Whether times are tough or easy, when it's popular or when it's not, hold your ground. Your value is yours to nurture, to expand and to protect. The world may not always understand, but that flame within you will guide you. So when life challenges you, when it tells you to fall back, to let go, remember the Spartans. Come and take it. Because the life you're meant to live is one you define. The goal is not to simply exist, but to live on your own terms. It's to evolve, to grow, and to hold firm in what matters most. The journey will not always be easy. The road to meaningful growth often requires the most of us. It will make us question who we are and where we're going. It will demand that when fear tries to cripple us, we find a way to move forward, to look our demons in the eye and say, I will not quit. So when life asks you to bow down, when the chaos of the world tries to pull you off course, here's to having the strength to stand tall and say, come and take it. Embrace the extra 22 seconds, a journey to your full potential. There's a power that lies within you, one that is always available, whether you choose to see it or not. It's an option that's always on the table, waiting for you to claim it. And the truth is, you are capable of obtaining it. But what happens when you don't feel that urge to reach for the extra 22 seconds, the extra push that separates greatness from mediocrity? Let me share a story. A few years ago, I was caught in a cycle of misalignment. I had a clear vision for my future, a long-term plan that excited me. But somewhere along the way, I lost track. I thought I needed to pivot, to focus more on monetizing my craft than on the craft itself. I rented a fancy condo, surrounded myself with things and people that didn't inspire me, and forgot what truly lit me up. I had lost touch with my purpose. In those moments, the fight for that extra 22 seconds didn't seem worth it. I was misaligned, disconnected from my true self, and everything felt empty. But that was the red flag, the signal that it was time to make a change. I packed up my life, hit the road, and realigned with my true passion, storytelling. And as I did, I remembered something crucial. When you're not aligned with what moves you, pushing for more feels impossible. It's not that you've lost your drive or capability, it's that you've lost alignment. Alignment is key. Without it, the extra effort you put in won't matter. But when you're pursuing something that moves you, something that excites you, you'll fight for it. You'll push beyond your limits, stretch past your comfort zone, and keep going until you break through. You've already done this in your life. Think about the times you felt like giving up, but kept going. Think about the times when you were hurting, yet you still pushed forward. Think about those times you thought you couldn't take another step, but found the strength to move. You've created little miracles along the way. Here's the truth. You are capable of so much more than you realize. It's not just about the big leaps. It's about those tiny steps, the 22 seconds, that stretch you, that test your resilience, and ultimately reveal your potential. Sometimes you need to draw a line in the sand between who you were and who you're becoming. Don't let your past failures define you. Those mistakes, those moments you didn't succeed, they don't have to dictate your future. You can return to the place of power that you've buried beneath all the doubts, the insecurities, and the fears. So what is stopping you? Is it fear, doubt, lack of direction? Whatever it is, know that you have the power to push through it. You just need to realign yourself with what truly matters. It's time to stop listening to the limiting beliefs that hold you back and start trusting in the greatness that resides within you. The road to greatness is not about giant leaps. It's about the consistent effort to push for just a little more, to stretch just a little further. And when you look back, you'll see how far you've come. You'll realize that every step, every extra second, every push forward was part of the process that led to the version of you that you're meant to become. So make today the day you choose to fight for that extra 22 seconds. Align yourself with your passion and know that the next step is always within reach. The journey is yours to define, and with each step, you're one step closer to becoming the person you've always been capable of being. The universe is calling you to greatness. It's time to answer. You are what you choose to be. And let's face it, it's often easier to choose to be less than we can. But the truth is, your reality isn't destined. It's what you choose to accept. You only get what you allow into your life. And that's the key point of this message. The moment of empowerment, the epiphany, when you realize that life will give you exactly what you ask for. When you don't ask, you're just sitting back, a spectator, watching life pass you by. That's not living. That's existing. So ask. Ask life for the things that elevate you, that inspire growth. Picture life like a blank page, waiting for you to write your own story. There are no limits to what you can create. New places, new people, new dreams. Each sunrise is a new opportunity to fill that page. Don't feel obligated to repeat the past. Today is yours. It's time to unshackle yourself from past perceptions, from how others have defined you. You don't owe anyone an explanation for becoming who you are meant to be. You're not here to conform or obey. You're here to explore, to question, to push the boundaries. Life is about embracing curiosity and embarking on the adventure ahead. When you truly understand that you're not defined by your past, you break free. So step forward with courage, eyes open, heart beating strong, and head held high. Life may not always make sense, but it's here for you. When you stop seeing the past as an obstacle and start seeing tomorrow as an opportunity, all roads lead to transformation. It's not about perfection. It never was. The past has given you everything you need to break free. Every challenge, every setback, every fall. It was all for this moment. The chance to rise, to reconnect with your greatness, and to take that first step forward. No miracles, no magic, just you deciding to allow your greatness to emerge. You have the ability. You are capable. And when you step into that power, you will be amazed at what you can achieve. Don't wait for the world to see it first. Believe in it before anyone else does. You are the architect of your plans, the builder of your future. In a world where victimhood is becoming a norm and blame is too easy, we have a choice. We can create temporary escapes, or we can create lives that matter. It's easier to point fingers, to blame others, to make excuses for why things aren't the way we want. But in doing that, we relinquish control and we forfeit the life we deserve. The truth is, accountability is the only way to move forward. It's not always comfortable, but in that discomfort lies growth. Think about it like going to the gym. You stress your muscles, break them down so they can grow back stronger. Personal responsibility is the muscle that builds our lives. We cannot afford to neglect it because it is what injects meaning into everything we do. I remember back in 8th grade, Mr. Betancourt walked to the front of the class, cupped his hands, and explained that we can't go through life asking for scraps. If you sit back, wait, and blame others, you'll lose. That's the recipe for bitterness. You're at a crossroads in your life. You can either go left into the world of escapism and blame, or you can go right into the hard work of taking control, confronting your problems, and asking yourself, what can I do to change this? Will Smith once said, "You can't control where you start. Life's not fair." We all face different challenges. Some of us are born into privilege. Others face social or financial obstacles. That's the reality of life. But the path you take from here is entirely up to you. How you move forward is your responsibility. You can choose to complain, to blame, to to make excuses. Or you can pick up the pieces and keep moving forward. Don't fall for the easy escape. Don't let the momentary relief of running from accountability trick you. If you want to win in the long run, you need to face your challenges head on. When you're in the passenger seat, you can criticize the driver, but it's the driver who holds the power. When will you take the wheel? When will you take full control of your life? Because that's where the real power is. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to avoid confrontation and to numb ourselves with escapism. But strength is found in confronting what must be confronted, whether it's with another person or with yourself. It's the ability to change, to grow, to face the tough conversations head on. Life is a gift, an opportunity, but it requires us to move through it with open eyes, to see the things that matter and gravitate towards the truths that will shape us. As Mr. Betancourt said so many years ago, we can't go through life asking for scraps. The transformation starts with you. If you don't like where you are, start now. Change begins with you. The path ahead is yours. You have everything you need to make that change. It's all about awareness and action. Let go of the victim mentality. It only holds you back. Yes, life is tough. It knocks us down. But this is your reminder. You don't have to stay down. It's not about what others did or didn't do. It's about what you do next. You have the power to get up, to create something new, and to shape your future. So take control. The world is waiting for you to step into your greatness. Don't let anything hold you back. If these walls could talk, a journey of self-discovery and growth. We often find ourselves trapped by our problems, focusing on our perceived flaws and setbacks. It's a natural human tendency, amplified by the negative bias that compels us to remember the one mistake over the 99 victories. If you visited a restaurant 100 times, had 99 incredible experiences, but encountered one problem on the 100th, that restaurant would forever be etched in your mind as a place of failure. Our brains are wired to notice the bad, to avoid it, to fixate on it. But what if we chose to see differently? If these walls could talk, they would urge you to turn around, to look at how far you've come. The journey you've taken hasn't been easy, but you've made it, step by step, day by day. It's funny how slow progress feels, how those moments of struggle can make us feel stagnant. Yet every time life pushed you down, you got back up. You walked into the unknown and put on a new pair of shoes. You became someone new. You are undefeated in your ability to move through adversity. Life is full of hardship, and sometimes it seems as if progress isn't happening at all. But that's the trick. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. If these walls could talk, they would remind you of the times you fought through life's toughest challenges, those times when you wanted to give up, but you didn't. They'd remind you that every hardship you've faced has been a lesson, a stepping stone to where you are now. You are not the person you were yesterday. If these walls could talk, they would ask you when you'll realize that you are enough. When will you see that you've already traveled so far? You've worn so many shoes, collected so many lessons, and yet you still doubt yourself. But you are ready. You've faced what life has thrown at you, and now it's time to look forward, to embrace the path ahead. There's no need to wait for permission. Your potential is immense, and it's time to start stepping into it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Remember how long you've been putting this off? How many extensions the gods gave you and you didn't use them? Today is precious, a unique opportunity that you can never get back. If these walls could talk, they would remind you that the time to act is now. You're not here to wait for life to give you permission or opportunities. You are the one who creates them. You are the one who drives your own story." These walls have seen people come and go, each one wishing they'd acted sooner, wishing they'd looked back earlier to recognize how far they'd come. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because it's already here. If these walls could talk, they'd tell you to stop focusing on the one thing that went wrong and start seeing the 99 things that went right. The moments that hurt, the losses you've faced, they've all led you here, to this moment, and they've made you stronger. You are not defined by what's happened to you. Your past does not control you. The wake of the boat doesn't drive the boat. It's time to chart a new course, a course toward growth, toward evolution, and toward your future. You've already crossed oceans you once thought impossible to cross. If you can endure the pressure, you can accomplish anything. You have everything you need because you couldn't have made it this far without gaining the knowledge and experience you need to take the next step. When you're stuck, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the unknown. The horizon may seem distant, the future uncertain. But if these walls could talk, they'd remind you that you've already overcome so much. Every difficulty you've faced is now a stepping stone, one that no longer has the power to hold you back. You've made your obstacles obsolete by moving forward. You've learned, grown, and become stronger with each step. So when life feels overwhelming, when the journey ahead seems too big, remember that you've been through hard times before, and you've come out the other side. The walls are silent now, but their message is clear. You are ready. You were made for what lies ahead. The map to your success is not out there in the world. It's within you, in the lessons you've learned, the strength you've built, and the resilience you've developed. Take a moment to look back, not to dwell on your past, but to see how far you've come. The challenges you face today will be the stepping stones for the person you will become tomorrow. Trust that you are capable of making it. You've already proven it. Keep moving forward because the best is yet to come. It took me years to understand something fundamental. Possibility and hope extend far beyond what we see right now. It's the pursuit of these possibilities that saved my life, immersing myself in what's unseen. Maybe we were given the present not to simply accept it, but to transform it. In our own way, we are all architects of our future. Here's the tricky part I've realized after years of reflection. Two things can be true at once. First, the only moment we ever truly have is the present. As Eckhart Tolle points out, depression is being stuck in the past, and anxiety is being fixated on the future. A healthy life is about learning to cherish and live in the now. But second, the power to direct the present towards something greater than what we see before us lies in our hands. We live in a world full of limitations and constraints, but it's not that we consciously restrict ourselves. No, we often live on autopilot, perceiving only the constraints our eyes show us day in and day out. Our eyes show us walls, and our brains say, "This is where we stop." But here's the truth. The world extends just beyond that wall. If we dare to ask, "What if I gave a little more?" or "Why not me?" we begin to see the hidden opportunities. We begin to realize that the boundaries are self-imposed, limited only by the small picture we allow ourselves to see. Let me tell you a story. When I was young, my parents got a computer with a Star Wars demo game. I played it over and over, thinking I had explored everything there was to see. But when a friend came over, he discovered a hidden door I had missed, leading to an entirely new part of the game, a world I hadn't even imagined. At first, I felt foolish for not seeing it, but then I was excited by the possibility that there was more waiting for me. This concept of the hidden door, the unseen path, has stayed with me. In life, we walk past countless hidden gateways, but we have to learn to recognize them. We have to train our minds to look for more. We often exist in demo mode, assuming that what we see is all that's possible. But if we build a higher platform for ourselves, we will begin to see the ropes, the ladders, the hidden doors that are waiting to elevate us. The world right now is a toolbox, waiting for us to construct a more meaningful tomorrow. Ask yourself, where are these hidden opportunities in your life? Where can you find greatness in the seemingly mundane? Is it in a conversation, a small decision you've been hesitating to make? It might be as simple as starting with 10 minutes a day to invest in yourself. A little boldness today, a little shift in how you see the world can open doors you never imagined. Look at the mirror and recognize who you are now. Are you shackling yourself to who you were yesterday? Can you see the opportunities that surround you, hidden in plain sight? It's not about being perfect or having everything figured out. It's about noticing what's already around you and starting to use it. You have everything you need to take the next step forward. Sometimes a single step is all it takes to put you back in the game. The greatest opportunities are often hidden behind difficulty, behind what feels like hopelessness. But if you keep moving forward, you'll discover the tools you already have. And let me share with you something I've learned from one of the best songs ever written, Iris, by the Goo Goo Dolls. The song was born out of one of the darkest times in Johnny Resnick's life. He was facing a divorce, a failed record deal, and writer's block. Yet it was through that struggle that he created something beautiful. The process wasn't perfect, but he kept moving forward with what he had. That's the lesson. Keep moving, even when it feels like nothing is working. Because with each step, you're building something meaningful. So here's what I'm asking. What are the hidden opportunities in your life? What are the things you've overlooked or accepted as limitations that are really just doors waiting for you to open them? You are capable of more than you think. The power lies in the decision to move beyond what you see and to ask, what can I build with what I already have? Because if you do that, you'll discover a world far beyond your front door, and that world will be waiting for you. There's a rare and precious connection you might find once in a lifetime. A person who has the power to reshape your entire perspective. With them, you share the deepest parts of yourself, vulnerabilities you've kept hidden from everyone else. They listen intently, genuinely eager to hear your stories. You open up about your aspirations, even the ones that seem impossible, the dreams that faded, and the setbacks you've endured. When joy strikes, they're the first you want to tell, knowing they'll celebrate with you wholeheartedly. They're there to share your tears in times of sorrow and to laugh alongside you at your own silliness. This person never diminishes you or makes you feel inadequate. Instead, they uplift you, helping you recognize your unique qualities and inner beauty. Their presence brings a sense of calm, free from pressure, jealousy, or competition. You can simply be yourself without fear of judgment because their love is unconditional. Small gestures, like a simple note, a shared song, or a quiet walk, become cherished memories, treasured in your heart. Being with them can evoke vivid memories of childhood, bringing back a sense of youthful wonder. The world seems brighter, more vibrant. Laughter, once a rare occurrence, becomes a regular part of your life. Even a brief phone call can brighten a long, tiring day. You find contentment in their mere presence, even without constant conversation. New interests emerge simply because they hold significance for this special person. They're constantly in your thoughts, woven into the fabric of your experiences. A clear blue sky, a gentle breeze, even a passing storm cloud can bring them to mind. You willingly open your heart, acknowledging the risk of future heartbreak. But in doing so, you discover a depth of love and joy you never imagined possible. Embracing vulnerability becomes the pathway to experiencing a profound and genuine happiness, one that can feel both exhilarating and a little frightening. You find strength in this bond, recognizing a true friend, perhaps even a soulmate, whose loyalty feels unwavering. Life takes on a new meaning, filled with excitement and purpose. Your greatest comfort lies in knowing they are a part of your world. Beyond the obvious, a journey of possibility. There was a time when life felt like a dead end, but I discovered a truth that changed everything. Possibility and hope exist far beyond our immediate surroundings. It wasn't acceptance, but the pursuit of possibility that pulled me back from the brink. Imagine the present moment isn't just about living with it, but about transforming it. We're all architects, capable of reshaping our own realities. Here's the surprising beauty. Two things can be true at once. We only have the present. As Eckhart Tolle says, dwelling on the past is depression, and worrying about the future is anxiety. Savoring the now leads to a more balanced life, but there's also power in using the present to reach beyond the visible. It's the magic of knowing that even within limitations, we can aim for more. We live in a world with boundaries, but these boundaries aren't imposed on us. They're self-imposed. It's easy to fall into a rut, to believe what our eyes tell us is the whole story. A wall appears and our minds say, "That's it." But what if there's a world of opportunity waiting just beyond? Remember playing demos as a kid, thinking you'd reached the end, only to discover a hidden button unlocking a whole new level? That's how life works too. Hidden opportunities are everywhere, waiting for us to open our eyes. The question is, are you ready for more? Are you willing to push past the apparent boundaries even when it feels like there's nothing left to explore? The key is to recognize that the world we see is just the beginning. You have the power to find the secret doors, to step through them and uncover the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is that we don't need all the answers to move forward. Take the song Iris by Goo Goo Dolls. Written during a difficult time, it wasn't born from perfect conditions, but from broken strings and personal struggles. Yet it became a masterpiece, a symbol of resilience. Sometimes the best things in life come from starting with what we have, not waiting for ideal circumstances. That's the key, moving forward, even when things aren't perfect. Life is a journey, a puzzle waiting to be solved. It's when we shift our mindset, when we stop asking, "Is this possible?" and start asking, "How can I make this work?" that a whole new perspective unlocks. Obstacles become not roadblocks, but signs pointing us in a different direction. This shift empowers us. We become creators of our own destiny, not victims of circumstance. The walls we see are not the end, but the beginning of our journey. It's up to us to find the passageways, the opportunities that will propel us forward. You don't need everything figured out to begin. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about taking the next step, no matter how small. Trusting that with every step, the pieces you need will fall into place. It's like assembling a puzzle, one piece at a time, and sometimes the most valuable pieces are the ones we find unexpectedly. Remember, your journey is yours to shape. You may not have chosen your current situation, but you have the power to create the next chapter. Think of the two brothers from the story, one trapped by his pain, the other using his struggles as fuel to grow. We all face challenges, but it's our response that defines us. In moments of struggle, don't get consumed by the past or the weight of your circumstances. See your situation as a stepping stone. Ask yourself, how can I use this to build something better? The moment you take back your power, the moment you decide you can change the course of your life, that's when you truly start living. Embrace the journey. Unleash your potential. Life's a wild ride, a roller coaster of ups and downs. But one thing's for sure, it never stops moving forward. And guess what? You're the architect, the one shaping this incredible adventure. Don't wait for ideal situations, grab the tools you have and build something extraordinary. The world craves your unique creation. There's no pressure here, but there is a call to action. Life won't hand you anything on a silver platter. As the seconds tick by, ask yourself, what are you waiting for? Remember Mark Twain's wisdom, it's the chances we don't take that sting the most in the end. Here's the beauty, every action, big or small, matters. Those seemingly insignificant steps add up. Pushing your limits today sets the stage for even greater victories tomorrow. Each effort, each brushstroke, brings you closer to the vision burning bright in your mind. It's a balancing act between the tangible and the imagined, the what is and the what could be. But let's not get overwhelmed. Let's focus on those audacious dreams, the ones that transform from a wisp of an idea into reality through sheer grit and determination. A friend once shared a quote that resonates deeply. Nothing matters. Now hear me out, not in a nihilistic way, but in a way that prompts you to ask, why not go for it? How far can I push myself? Who can I become? Maybe life isn't as serious as we make it out to be. Instead of fear paralyzing you, what if you saw your existence as a gift? This realization that we often construct mental cages around ourselves can be liberating. Opportunities abound, but we often need to open the gates of our minds to access them. We need to break free from self-imposed limitations. Think back to a time you pushed yourself physically, like after a grueling workout or a challenging run. You collapse, drained, but then comes a wave of peace. That quiet stillness after the chaos is a gift. Life's challenges, those moments of strain and struggle, remind us to appreciate the serenity that follows. They help us rediscover life's simple joys. Absence of pain is a treasure far more valuable than any material possession. It's in these moments of peace that the world's beauty and abundance unfold before us, if we're just present enough to see it. Tolstoy reminds us, stop for a moment, seize your work. Look around you. Breathe. Being alive, existing in this world of endless possibility, is a victory in itself. Why waste time sweating the small stuff? I often ask myself, what's the worst that could happen? Failure is just another stepping stone on the path to growth. Facing your fears unlocks a treasure trove of rewards. So take the risk. There's a caveat though. Nothing matters only applies within the context of your own values and goals. It's not about disregarding everything, it's about freeing yourself from external pressures. The world will try to box you in, but it's not those limitations that hold you back, it's your perception of them. You hold the pen that writes your story. Every sunrise is a chance to rewrite a chapter. The universe brims with opportunity, waiting for you to see it. Ask yourself, what does freedom feel and look like? You were born to pursue it, and you have everything you need to make it a reality. Let the little things guide you towards the grand dreams you haven't yet created. Walk away from anything that doesn't align with your core values. Dive headfirst into what resonates with your soul. There's everything to gain and nothing to lose. We often resist change, it's inconvenient. Like that notification for a software update you keep postponing. It doesn't seem urgent, but that mindset hinders you in life. Growth requires embracing discomfort. Life isn't meant to be a cakewalk, it's about evolving, and that means venturing into the unknown. Think of the parable of the two seeds. One embraces the unknown and bursts towards the sun, experiencing life's full potential. The other, afraid of change, remains buried, eventually becoming food for a bird. The lesson? Growth demands stepping outside your comfort zone. Staying stagnant doesn't preserve you, it traps you. You were made to evolve. Growth is about embracing the unknown, trusting yourself, and knowing the world offers everything you need. It's about moving forward, even with an unclear path ahead. Don't cling to the familiar or the safe. If it doesn't serve you, let it go. Some things will fade, but that's okay. They played their part and now act as stepping stones to your success.